Hello back to the canal and welcome back to Inception. Yes. Inception is written and directed by Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan, who directed some of the most famous films of the past decade and onwards, past 20 years even. Films like The Prestige, which I reviewed recently on this channel and I absolutely loved. And then you have the Dark Knight trilogy, which is one of the best trilogies I've ever seen ever. And then you have, Interstellar, Dunkirk, which I think is an absolutely brilliant film. And then he's also directed the new film Tenet, which I literally can't wait to see. Anyway, 10 years ago, he wrote and directed this film, Inception. And this film has a humongous cast. So I'm going to try and name them all off the top of my head as best as possible. We have Leonardo DiCaprio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Ellen Page, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, Dileep Rao, Marion Cotillard, I think that's how I pronounce her name. We also have Watanabe, and the one and only Michael Caine, who seems to be in all of Christopher Nolan's films. He's even in Dunkirk. He has a little voice ignition in Dunkirk. But anyway, this film has famously got a complicated plot, so I'm just going to try and explain the plot as best as possible. Basically, this film takes place in the future, where other people can go into other people's dreams and collect information from their dreams through their subconsciousness. And basically, Leonardo DiCaprio was sent to do this job so he can get his life back, so he can see his kids again and get his life back. And this job is Inception, hence the name of the film, Inception. And basically, DiCaprio and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's characters must recruit a team to do Inception, because it's a hard task. And basically, this team consists of Ellen Page, Tom Hardy, and Watanabe. And basically, this task involves them going into Robert Fisher's dream. Robert Fisher in the film is played by Cillian Murphy. But it's not as simple as it sounds, because each dream's got a different time frame. The deeper the dream you go, the longer the time frame might be in that dream. Also, it's not the case that if you die in one dream, you just wake up in reality. That's not the case. You can actually get stuck in a dream limbo in this film, or you can die. And it's actually quite, it's actually kind of a life and death situation. And basically, you have to go into Robert Fisher's dream. Robert Fisher, played by Cillian Murphy in the film, to find out something about him and his relationship between Robert Fisher and his dad. And basically, complications start to occur though, because DiCaprio's dreams, DiCaprio, who is the protagonist of the film, his dreams start to collide with all the other dreams and start to create problems for all these other characters, the team that's trying to do Inception. And DiCaprio's character is kind of complicating that in a very clever way. But anyway, that's the general plot of the film. I'll try to explain it as best as possible. Apologies if I missed anything out, but I tried to explain it as best as possible. And well, wow, what a film. This film is absolutely amazing. And I've seen this film twice now. I've seen it on the small screen, and I actually had the pleasure yesterday of watching it on the big screen on 4DX. You know what 4DX is like? The chairs move, you got smell, you got water, you got, wind and everything. It's, you get the perfect experience. You actually kind of feel like you're in the film. I think 4DX is a great experience. But anyway, I had the pleasure, I've seen this film twice now, and don't get me wrong, it's complicated, I'm going to talk about that. But it's so good. I thought it was absolutely incredible the first time, and then I actually liked it more the second time, whether that's because I've seen it on the big screen, or whether I understood the plot a tad bit more. I just think this film is amazing. I'm not going to beat around the bush on what I think about this film, because it's amazing. And yes, don't get me wrong, this film does have a complicated plot. It's a complicated idea. Christopher Nolan himself even said that he was toying around with this idea for so long when he was doing the first two Dark Knight films in the Dark Knight trilogy. And you can really tell, the script for this film is so original. This film is incredibly original. But at the same time, it's incredibly complex. And I'm not going to lie, I actually like the fact that it's complex. It makes you go back and watch the film more than once, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. When I watched the film the first time, I was like, I can't review this without watching it another time. No, I waited to go and watch it in the cinema because I knew that I was going to watch it in the cinema, or I hoped I was going to watch it in the cinema. And luckily enough, I did get the chance to go and watch it in the cinema, and I stood a lot more the second time. And I bet, even when I watch it in the future, I will pick up new information or new details in the film. Whether that's a dream, whether that's not a dream, things like that. Just new information and new details. I bet when I watch this film countless times in the future, I will still pick up new information. That's what I think is so clever about the film. It's one of the films which actually gets better on a second viewing, or better on a third, or fourth, or a fifth, or so on and so on viewing. I think that's a really good method of filmmaking. I really do. And it's also one of those films which, when you think about it, the more you think about it, the more it actually gets better. There's not many films I can say that for. And the more you think about it, the more you actually think, wow, that's an incredible film. Also, by the way, you can tell this film is directed by Christopher Nolan in the best way possible. If anyone's ever seen a Christopher Nolan film before, they're about 2 hours and a half. Quite long, but don't always feel that way. In fact, quite a lot of his films, almost all of his films, feel riveting, and they're literally on the edge of your seat. I know I was with Dunkirk and some of the Dark Knight films, and Prestige. And even though this film is like 2 hours and a half, it does not feel that. It's so riveting, and it's so intense and so intriguing to watch. Honestly, my eyes were completely glued to the screen for the whole of 2 hours and a half. That barely happened for me in the film. Even watching the film in the cinema, sometimes I will just, quickly look over to see what's going on elsewhere. But in this film, my eyes never left the screen. I was so intrigued in this plot, in this story, and so interested in all these characters, because the characters are so interesting as well. And oh my god, there's so many intense sequences. Action sequences in this film are so incredibly well shot. There's one action sequence in the film that I do really want to talk about, and you'll know what scene I'm talking about. It's one of the most famous scenes in the whole film. It's one of the most famous scenes in film history, really, ever since this film came out. But basically, you know what scene I'm talking about. It involves Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he just starts fighting in the corridor, and something happens to the corridor, not to Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Something actually happens to the corridor. I remember watching that scene the first time, and my jaw literally dropped. I was like, wow. And bear in mind, I watched it about a month ago the first time, so that's still quite impressive that a film 10 years ago can still make my jaw drop. And then the second time, I loved that scene even more. I knew that scene was coming up. In fact, I was really looking forward to that scene the second time. But my jaw still literally dropped, and I went, the seat started to rumble as well, because it was 4DX, so the seat started to rumble. I was like, whoa, this scene's fantastic. You have to know, you must know what scene I'm talking about if you've seen the film. But this film also has an incredible heart, which I really didn't expect. Don't get me wrong, you have these incredibly well shot action sequences. There's so many incredibly well shot action sequences. Honestly, each action sequence in the film is so incredible and so intense, and you just kind of sitting there like, how did he shoot that? Absolutely incredible to watch, just on both on the small screen and on the big screen, especially on the big screen. But on the small screen, it was still fantastic to watch as well. But I digress. The film has an absolutely fantastic character. The heart of the film is just it's DiCaprio's character. He's just trying to get his life back. He's just trying to become a father again. He just wants to see his kids again. He literally can't see the face of his kids throughout the film. He keeps seeing them from the back of them. Wherever he goes, he just keeps seeing the back of his kids. And just that heart of the film, carries the film throughout, and it adds so much plot to it. This film has layers of plot, quite literally layers of plot. Just that whole plot with DiCaprio trying to get back to the kids, it's so fantastic to watch. And also the film has an incredible emotional punch at the end. I'm not going to spoil it in case you haven't seen the film, but the film has two incredible emotional punches. One emotional punch with Cillian Murphy's character, and I just literally, when that punch came, I was like, whoa. And then you have another incredible emotional punch with DiCaprio's character towards the end of the film. And they're both absolutely fantastic and so well done. Things in this film that I just really wasn't expecting, especially with Cillian Murphy's character. That brings me on to my performance in the film. Everyone is absolutely on their A games in the film. DiCaprio is fantastic in the film. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's fantastic in the film. Ellen Page is fantastic. Tom Hardy's fantastic. There's one scene which I want to talk about with Tom Hardy in the film, which I absolutely love. Basically, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is trying to shoot somebody on this roof, and he's not doing very well. He's got this small gun, and basically they're in a dream at this stage, and then Tom Hardy just comes up behind him and just says, "Dream a little bit, darling," and they just gets a big gun out and just shoots him. Love that scene. But anyway, Tom Hardy's fantastic in the film, and the person I actually thought was amazing in this film was Cillian Murphy. This is my new favourite Cillian Murphy performance. Don't get me wrong, I love him in Peaky Blinders. I think he's great in Peaky Blinders. But in this film, he's something else. He really is. I thought his performance was great in the film. The way his character develops over the course of the film is kind of incredible. And by the way, my second favourite Cillian Murphy performance is Scarecrow in Batman Begins. And that's another Christopher Nolan film. Christopher Nolan must bring out the best in him. But anyway, I thought Cillian Murphy was great in the film. Everyone else was great in the film. And it was also nice to see Michael Caine there. Even so he was only in it a little bit, it was just like, oh, Michael Caine must watch a Christopher Nolan film. But anyway, like I said before, the film had literally layers of plot. And yes, it seems complex on the outside, but it works so well. It really does. And the CGI in the film is absolutely fantastic. It actually looks better than some of the CGI I would see in films today. This looked like 2020 CGI. Bear in mind, this film was made 10 years ago now. And the CGI still holds up incredibly well, really good. I can even tell it was 10 years ago CGI. This CGI looks like CGI you would see in films nowadays. In fact, it even looks better than some CGI you see in films nowadays. Honestly, this film is incredible. It really is. It has an incredible emotional punch at the end, an incredible heart. It's incredibly well directed. It's so riveting and it's so... oh my god, it's just so fantastic to watch. And one of the other reasons it's so riveting and intense, which I almost forgot to mention, and I would never forgive myself if I forgot to mention this in my review of Inception, is the music. I'm not the biggest Hans Zimmer fan, I must admit, but his music in this film, it's like the whole thing with John Williams and Jaws. Without John Williams' music in Jaws, and without Hans Zimmer's music in Inception, the films would not be the same. The music in this film just makes so many sequences so much more intense than they initially were. Hans Zimmer did an absolutely incredible job scoring this film. He really did. The Hans Zimmer score in this film is incredible. One of the best scores I've heard from him. It's probably my favourite score from a Christopher Nolan film. Honestly, the music in this film is so incredible. Just that last piece of music, Time, by Hans Zimmer, towards the end of the film, is so good. The music from Hans Zimmer, I'm not the biggest fan of Hans Zimmer. I must admit, I'm not a fan of his music really. But the score for this film just makes the film so much more intense and so good to watch. Honestly, this is one of the best made films I've ever seen. It is incredible. It's probably one of my favourite films of the past decade, if not my favourite film of the past decade. Honestly, it's amazingly directed, amazing performances, amazing music, amazingly intense action sequences, amazing plot, you know, because this plot, you can go back and watch it time and time again, and you probably still find out new information or new detail. It's an amazing film. Honestly, it really is. Marion Cotillard's great in the film. I forgot to mention her. She has quite a big role in the film, but she's great in the film as well. And it's absolutely incredible. Honestly, one of the best films I've ever seen. It is so good. I can see people still talking about this film, you know, 30 years to come. I really can. So all in all, Inception is an incredible film. I don't know why it took me so long to watch it, but yeah, it's an incredible film. And all in all, I'm going to give Inception a 9 out of 10. Why not a 9.5 out of 10? Or why not a 10 out of 10? Well, the film is a bit complicated. So on the first viewing, I was a bit just like, at the end of the film, I was like, I'm going to need to watch this again. Saying that, there's no harm in watching it again. Because on the second viewing, I actually understood it more. And I think you'll find out new information, you know, on a second, third, fourth viewing, and so on and so on and so on. So I don't actually think watching it again is a bad thing. I just thought on the first viewing, there's a lot of information for you. And it's a bit complex. But that just means you can go and watch this film again. And there's no harm in that because it's such an incredible film. It is. It's an absolutely incredible film. Honestly, I'm so glad that people told me to watch this film. And I'm so glad that I finally did before Tenet. I literally can't wait for Tenet, by the way. Honestly, been so excited for that film. It was going to come out in July, then it got pushed back, then it's going to come out, you know, early August, then it got pushed back, and then, you know, late August, and it was uncertain again. Now it's going to finally come out late August, and I can't wait to watch the film. I'm going to get my viewing Tenet up as soon as I see that film. Honestly, I'm so excited to see Tenet. I really am. Seeing a new Christopher Nolan film on the big screen for, you know, the first time is going to be absolutely fantastic. But I digress. Inception is an incredible film, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 from me. Anyway guys, have you seen Inception? And if so, what do you think of it? Do you love it to hate it? Or have you just not watched it? And if not, why not? Please do comment below. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Seriously, this film is so incredible, and it's just got me more excited for Tenet. Because they re-released the film in the cinemas for its 10th anniversary. Because this film is 10 years old now. And just before I saw this film in the cinema, I got a trailer for Tenet, and then I got a little documentary trailer for Tenet as well. And it's got me so excited for the film. Huge fan of the cast of the film, huge fan of the person who did the music of the film. It's not Hans Zimmer anymore, it's Ludwig Göransson. He did the music for, you know, Mandalorian, so I'm so excited to hear the music for the film as well. I'm just so excited to see a new Christopher Nolan film in the cinema for the first time. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved seeing Inception in the cinema, but Tenet's a new Christopher Nolan film. No one knows anything about this film, so I'm just so excited to finally watch a Christopher Nolan film, a new Christopher Nolan film, for the first time in the cinema. Anyway guys, thank you as always for watching, and if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like, subscribe on this video, and look forward to many more, both film and TV views coming very soon on this channel. See you guys again soon, but bye for now, bye!